If you could have unlimited money, but only if you refused to bathe or cut your hair and nails for 7 years, would you do it? That's the premise of a fun Beauty and the Beast adjacent fairy tale by the brothers Grimm called Bearskin. And it's a patron pick.
Fucked up fairy tales with Liz.
Ding! Once upon a time, a young soldier found himself with no family to go to and no work to fulfill now that his war had ended. It's almost as if the militarized world has always neglected its veterans after they've put their bodies on the line, isn't it? One day, the soldier wandered into the woods, feeling depressed and dejected, carrying nothing but his gun. He wandered until he found a circle of trees, where he dropped to his knees heavily. But he wasn't alone for long.
Well, don't you look like a man that could use a bunch of money? No need to rub it in. Hey, I would never say such a thing if I couldn't deliver. Why would you help me? I'm a generous guy. A generous guy with cloven feet. Oh, those? Don't worry about that. All you have to do to earn yourself infinite cash flow is accomplish just a few tasks of bravery and endurance. What's the first challenge? Oh, well, the first challenge is bear roar!
A bear came lumbering out of the trees towards the soldier. Quickly, the soldier shot in defense, taking down the creature.
Bam! You just accomplished challenge number 1. Nice work. You up for another challenge? As long as I don't have to forfeit my soul. Your soul? You are so crazy. Where did you get that idea? Devil, my man, you are not even trying to hide your cloven feet. It's just really hard to find shoes that fit hooves, you know? So look, obviously you risk your soul when you're dealing with me. But hear me out. I'm going to lend you my snazzy jacket here, which is going to give you coins every time you reach into the pocket. And I only have one condition for you to borrow it. All you have to do is refuse to bathe, let your hair and beard grow out, refuse to brush or comb said hair, refuse to pray because I really need you to look like a heathen for 7 short years. And if you don't manage to die during that time, you will be rich for life. What a weird challenge. Well, when you're an immortal being like me, the usual temptations start to get a little boring after a while. I'll give it a go.
The devil gave the soldier his magical money coat, as well as the skin of the slain bear. The soldier was instructed to wear the bearskin at all times, and sleep in it too. It would be his sleeping bag as well as his coat. And Bearskin would be his new name. The soldier began his 7-year challenge with a lot of confidence because initially he was just living large. He had a never-ending cash flow, he was growing a very attractive facial scruff, and if his fashion choices seemed a little odd, people forgave him because he was so fucking rich. But eventually he began to look pretty rough. His beard grew long and matted, and it hosted all sorts of unsavory pests. His nails were getting so long and curly like a Guinness World Record holder. Most people wanted nothing to do with him. The soldier persevered by being generous with his money, only asking for a prayer in return. He figured if he wasn't allowed to pray for himself, he'd have to rely on the prayer of others. His ability to bribe innkeepers kept him boarded, though they made sure he stayed in his room so he wouldn't scare off any other customers. The soldier's main challenge was that he was getting pretty lonely. One night, about 4 years into his hairy hermitage, he was having a little pity party in his room when he heard someone crying in the room next door. He decided to check in on his neighbor, and there he found an old man sobbing. The old man only stopped crying long enough to recoil in horror at the sight of the soldier.
Hey, sorry to scare you. I come in compassion, though. Holy shit, there's a man under there. A man with a big heart and deep pockets. How can I help? I am completely broke. I have to go home to my 3 daughters and I have no way to take care of them. I can't even pay my bill at this here inn. I'd be happy to cover your bill. And on top of that, I'll give you some extra funds so, you don't have to worry so much. That is so incredibly generous. My daughters are 3 lovely young ladies. You in need of a wife? I would be up for some matchmaking. Maybe you should clean up a little bit, though, before you meet them. I'm afraid that what you see is, what they get. Huh. I'm sure one of them will go for it.
It turned out that the old man was far too optimistic about his daughter's tolerance. His older two daughters were horrified at the sight of Bearskin alone, never mind at the idea of marrying him. It was the youngest daughter who gave her hand willingly, figuring that the good heart underneath all that gnarly hair would pay off in the end. For their engagement, the soldier had a ring engraved with both of their names. I'm assuming that it was engraved with the name Bearskin and not the soldier's actual name, since it was happening during his 7-year challenge. He broke the ring in half and gave one half to his betrothed.
Keep that half of the ring, my dear. I must go out and wander the world for 3 more years. If I do not return to you after that time, you must assume I've died.
Why do you have to leave?
I'm actually not sure,
Neither am I.
but it's what I have to do.
Then I will wear black until you return.
Well, why would you do that?
I don't know,
I don't know either.
but it's what I will do.
Now, the young woman's sisters had a lot to say over the next few years.
All your black clothes make sense, sister. I too would be mourning my life if I had to marry an animal.
Well, at least the wedding will be fun. It'll feature a dancing bear. Just don't carry any jerky in your pockets, girl, or he might maul you.
And in the meantime, the final 3 years of the soldier's quest went uneventfully. On the final day, he showed up at the grove of trees where he had met the devil, a flea-bitten, grimy, walking hairball. The devil had a good laugh at his expense, I assume, and he tried to snatch back his magical money jacket and run away as soon as possible. But the soldier didn't let him get away so easily.
Hey, where do you think you're going? I demand a makeover, you sneaky devil. Fine, get over here.
The devil gave the soldier a proper bath and haircut, and provided him with his lifetime supply of riches. The soldier bought himself a fancy new uniform and a beautiful horse-drawn carriage, and he returned to the home of his betrothed in style, so much so that no one recognized him. The old man, assuming he was some decorated colonel, invited him to dinner to meet his daughters, presumably to marry him off to one of the older two. The 2 older sisters went gaga over the guy. They flirted with him, they served him, they were all about it, but the youngest didn't even give him the time of day. She was still waiting to see if her bearskin would arrive home. After dinner, the 2 older girls ran upstairs to put on their best gowns, anticipating a proposal. Once they were alone, the soldier dropped his half of the ring into the youngest daughter's wine. When the young woman found the ring, she looked up at the soldier with wide eyes.
Yes, I am the hairy bastard you agreed to marry.
When the oldest sisters found out that the handsome colonel was the guy marrying their youngest sister, the older one drowned herself and the other one hung herself. Cannot say I saw that coming. That night, the family heard a knock on the door. The soldier answered and found the devil standing there.
You know, soldier, I was pretty bummed that you got away with your soul, but I just got a 2-for-1 soul deal when those crazy bitches killed themselves just now. Our family is in mourning, you monster! How dare you! My children are dead. Get the hell out of my house! My bad.
The end. Thanks to my patron Ty for requesting this delightfully weird fairy tale. If you'd like to move your favorite fucked up fairy tales to the top of the list, you should join my Patreon. You'll get to vote for stories and themes that I'll take on during the month on my main feed, as well as get exclusive access to my Fucked Up Fairy Tales podcast. I am working on the 5th season right now. And you'll get the occasional bonus video, such as my series Fucked Up Fables. And if you're not able to financially support me right now, I completely get it. You can do everything else. You can like this video, you can comment on it, you can save it, you can share it with people. Tell a friend who might enjoy my storytelling to give me a follow, and I appreciate that support. Thank you for watching. I'll see you for the next Fucked Up Fairy Tale.
Fucked up fairy tales with Liz. Fucked up fairy tales with Liz.